Hey, today I'm going to show you how to make a PVC falconry lure. You're going to need PVC shower pan liner, a pair of scissors, a rotary hole punch, super glue, and a 95 parachute cord, as well as a lighter. So you're going to want a piece of shower pan liner. It's 4 inches wide and about, let me see, about 6 inches long. Doesn't have to be exact because we are going to trim it later on. And you're going to want to mark it about an inch down from the top because we're not going to be doing any cutting past that line. First thing you want to do is make sure it's square, and then go ahead and take scissors and cut slits up to the line, which is about an inch below the top. And I don't know what the measurement is, but it's a bit wider than a 1/4 inch, but not as wide as 1/2 inch. So somewhere in the middle there. Alright, so we have our PVC pan liner with the slits in it. So what we're going to do now, it usually takes me a couple tries to get this right. We're going to fold it over. And then do it again. And just keep on going. Just roll it up and try to keep the top level. Try to roll it up evenly. Alright, so there we have it. It's all rolled up. And you can see on the inside, you can see where it starts, and we want to press it flat so that way it's flattened and we don't have, it's even on the inside. And then we're going to take our hole punch. I'm not going to use the biggest setting, I'm going to use one of the middle settings. And so you can see what I'm doing here. Make a hole punch. Down the center of where that fold is. Alright, so hold on, there we go. Now we've got, you can let it unwind now. A whole bunch of holes in it. So now we can take a cord. I'm going to use white. And I'm going to take about that much of it. So probably, I don't know, 8 inches folded in half, about 16 inches. Again, doesn't have to be super accurate because we're going to trim it. And I'm going to tie a knot in one end. After you got the knot, goes. You go, alright, so this is so you go to the end that was on the inside, and you go in through the second hole from the end, and then back up through the first hole. But don't pull it all the way tight. Got jelly fingers today. Fingers are not doing what I want them to do. Actually, never mind. This is going to be easier if actually you don't have a knot in, because then you can thread from both sides if you need to. Alright, so right now I've got on the end, I've got a loop on what's going to be the inside of the lure, and then the two tails on the outside. So that gets folded over. And now I'm just going to start slowly wrapping it up. So I've got this folded up with the loop part on the inside of where the fold is. And I'm going to thread the cord through that side to wrap that in. And then I'm going to go to the other side, do the same thing, and here's, sorry I forgot to do this earlier, where the lighter comes in handy. Melt that end a bit, make it easier to work with. So there we go. We have got the tassel part finished, and we've got the loop in the middle. So now we just tie a knot here. I like to do sort of a slip knot and then tuck the end in and lock it because it's just a little bit bigger than a regular square knot. Most likely it'll slips through. Pull that up against, nice and tight. And same thing with the other side. Regular square knot probably would work, probably would look a little nicer, but alright, so there you go, that's base door. And now to make it look just a little nicer, I'm going to trim it. I don't want to take any more off the side here, so I'm actually not going to trim it. Never mind, I lied, but I am going to take super glue. And glue this down nice and tight. Let this set for a second. There we go. So there we go. That's that. That's the basic lure. You can add more colors, make it look a little nicer by adding cobra braid. I'm going to use red for this. It's also a good place to add meat ties. So, for those of you who don't know what a cobra braid is, it's essentially just tying square knots over and over again around the existing cord. So I'm going to pause it here because I don't have a good camera angle to show you how to do that, but there are plenty of people who have already put videos up on the cobra braid if you don't know how to do that. So be back in a second. So I'm back and I've finished the cobra braid. I've also snipped the ends and melted the paracord to seal it on the knots, and I did switch to a regular overhand knot because it just looks better and hole is plenty small enough. So now we have this pretty lure with meat ties. You can leave the meat ties like that and just use a regular knot to secure the meat into the lure, or you can put a little slider on it. And the slider I like to use, two ways you can do it. You can have a cross slide where you cross and then have the slider here, so when you pull on it, it cinches, or you can add a slider that goes up and down. I think for this one, I'm going to use a slider that pulls up and down. And I'm going to use blue for this. And same deal as before, I'm just going to add a cobra braid for the slider. Alright, so I'm back. And this is the slider. When you do this, you want it to be pretty tight. So that is nice and snug on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the camera off because it's going to be kind of boring. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tie a couple knots in here, trim the ends and melt them, and then I'll show you what I've done with it. Alright, so here's the finished product. You got the lure with the tie for where your string goes to, and then your meat ties and a slider. And if bird pulls that off, you can just cut the blue part off, cut the slider off, and then use the ties as a regular knotted tie. There you have it. It's a tassel lure for a micro falcon, and for a bigger bird, instead of using 4 inches, I would just use 6 inches, and 550 paracord instead of 95. Thanks for watching.